Welcome guys, my name is Tom Antos, and in this video I wanted to show you how I'm creating this sort of a flashback sequence for a new project that I'm working on. I want to quickly sort of convey the sense of this desolate world. And now obviously it's not easy doing something like this on a low budget, so that's why I'm using stock footage from pond5.com. The best way to convey this idea that the world is engulfed in war is to show a few sort of landmarks from around the world that I think most people will recognize. So on pond5.com, I'm just gonna go here into search field and type in landmarks. As you'll notice here, you can choose, if you want to search for music tracks, audio, After Effects, Photoshop files, things like that. I'm just looking for footage right now. So this is what it shows me up here. It's found over 223,071 video clips. So obviously it's way too many for me to go through all of them. So I can kind of go in and narrow it down. So I can kind of, first select my price range, sort of how much I'm willing to pay for, for each one of these shots. So maybe right now I'll just put, I don't know, maybe my budget is, $500. I want to get 5 shots, let's say. So I'll pick like $100 here range. Clip duration, I don't really care what it is. Resolution, you can choose above 4K, 4K, 2K, but I'm working in HD, so I'll just click this. And then you can also choose even frame rates and things like that. For me, none of that stuff really matters, but if you're, want to be that specific, again, you can narrow it down even further. So now already narrowed it down to 142,000 video clips. So still a lot, but let's see what they have up here. You can also choose up here, to sort of show you the most popular clips, best match, and things like that. I'm just gonna go with the first one. So here we have a few shots, like Hollywood, Washington, things like that. For example, I like this one, Golden Gate Bridge. Looks pretty cool. So I might pick something like that. For example, here's another shot of the Coliseum. What else do we have here? Oh, this looks pretty cool. Aerial view of Christ the Redeemer and Rio de Janeiro. So as you can see, there's a big selection. So sort of you have to end up going through all the clips and sort of picking them. See here, I really like this Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So I might do something with that, and maybe something from New York. So let me just kind of quickly browse through all these clips here and just pick my favorites. So here are the shots that I picked out, and as you can see, I was able to find the landmarks that I wanted. In the exact sort of angle and sort of lighting mood that I was going for. So it's because there's so many choices out here on pond5.com. So the first shot is just of the Statue of Liberty close up. I also got this wide shot of the Statue of Liberty, which I think is going to cut nicely together. Next I got Christ the Redeemer statue, but I think in a really cool angle again, where the camera's flying around it. And then like this long telephoto zoom lens. And then I also got a shot of the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. So first thing I'm going to do is add some special effects to make it look like these shots are actually in this kind of a apocalyptic setting. So here in Adobe After Effects, I'm just going to grab the Golden Gate Bridge and create a new timeline. Next thing I gotta decide what I'm actually gonna add to this shot. So for sure I'm gonna add some color correction to kind of make it look a little bit more like a kind of apocalyptic kind of world. But I'm thinking it might be nice, or might not be nice, but it might look cool in this shot to add a nuclear explosion, like right there in downtown San Francisco. So some of the other shots that I got from pond5.com is this cool stock footage of a nuclear explosion. So it comes with a shot like this, and then it also has an alpha at the end of it. So I'm just gonna drag and drop it into my shot, and here's the shot. First thing I gotta do is I gotta apply the alpha to it. So pretty simple, just pick the point where the alpha starts. It's here, go Control Shift and D to split the shot. And I just gotta sort of line it up now with the color version of this element. So I'm gonna take this and just make it transparent, 50%. And here I'm gonna drag the clip underneath it, and I think that's it. Yep. Take both of these shots together. And the next thing I gotta do is gotta do a transfer matte. So you can go here, right click on the columns and turn on the modes, the transfer modes, and we're gonna pick make sure that our alpha channel is above, and we're gonna pick the layer below and choose Luma matte. And what that does, I'll hide the footage underneath it. As you can see now, it makes our nuclear explosion basically transparent. So looks pretty cool. That's the shot here. So once I'm happy with this, I'm just going to pre-compose these two elements so it's easier to work with them. So right click, select both of them, and then right click, choose pre-compose. Make sure remove all attributes is checked in, and we're just going to name it explosion. Alright. So now that we have our explosion, we need to put it into the shot. So let's decide where the actual explosion happens. So I think I'm going to put it like 4 seconds exactly. So I'm going to create a little marker here just so it's easy to work with it, like, you know, when I'm layering in all the other things in there. So that's the marker. I'll just go put here. So just so we know, this is where the explosion starts. And also, I can hide the explosion for now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it, split our shot. So again, Control-Shift-D. Since the beginning of the shot, I'm not really going to do anything to it. So I'm just going to kind of modify this second half. So now that I split it up here, I can now take this section and do a camera track, because I want to be able to track the motion of the camera. So any effects that I put into this shot will match the same motion. So right click on it, click track camera, and as you can see, camera tracker starts analyzing the shot right away for us. So I just gotta wait for this to finish. And now it's solving the camera, and it's done. So now that we have this, we can create the camera. So we basically click here, create camera. As you can see, we have a new layer here called 3D tracker camera. Here's what we're gonna do next. I'm going to take the explosion, I'm going to turn it back on, and here I'm going to make it kind of begin again the same moment as where we put the explosion marker. Now we got to make this into a 3D layer, since we have a 3D tracked camera. So to make it a 3D layer, just go here where it says 3D layer and then just check it. So as you can see, it's moving now. The problem is it's completely in the wrong spot. So we got to go back here to our shot, to our camera tracker information, and you can see all these little points. So we'll pick one of these points here. Let's maybe zoom in here so you can see better. Maybe select this one and go create a null. So it creates a null in 3D space. Here it is. I'll go P to so you can see the position of it, and then select it and go Control C to copy it. Now we'll take our explosion, again P to show the position, and Control V to paste it. So now as you can see, our explosion is all the way back there. Another thing we'll do is we'll scale it up. Oh, and also I'm going to change the anchor point, so it's kind of at the bottom of the explosion, so it's just easier to manipulate it. So move this up here, and somewhere there is good. So I can zoom out now, and let's see how this looks. So now, yeah, it looks like our explosion is there in San Francisco, but I want it to be a lot bigger, definitely. By the you know, sort of the end of the shot, I wanted to kind of fill out the sky. So I can again just grab the scale here, and you can just scale it way up somewhere here. So the next thing I'll do is just sort of play around with the footage to kind of make it match a little bit better the background there. The one thing you'll notice is that you know, any kind of basically items or landmarks or anything that you have in the distance, the further away it is from camera, the kind of more kind of grayed out it looks, and it's because of the, you know, the fact that it's all the atmosphere in between it kind of, you know, makes it lose its color and contrast. So first thing we gotta do in the explosion here is we go FX control, right click, click color correction, and we'll go levels. And with the levels, we can take the black levels here and we can just drag it to the right, and this kind of makes all the black points, you know, all the black pixels in our footage, kind of makes it a little bit lighter. So again, makes it kind of look a little bit washed out, like it's behind the you know, the atmosphere. So it makes it look like it's a little bit further away. So So I think that looks pretty cool. We might even bring down the highlights a little bit. And I think that's pretty good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the explosion and I'm going to duplicate the layer. And I'm going to adjust the horizontal scale, something like this. And I'm also going to go, maybe I'll scale it up all the way up like this. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to cut it out. I just want to basically cut out the bottom kind of dust cloud up here. So I'm going to take the pen tool, create a quick little mask up here, like that. Alright, and we'll go to our explosion now. If you look at it, this is all we're seeing. So I gotta go to the mask here that we created, and I just gotta feather it a little bit. So somewhere there is good. And I want to make sure that we're not seeing any of that fire. So I'll click here on the mask path and mask feather, the stopwatch. So I'm keying it. And as you can see at the beginning though, because of the cloud is moving down, I gotta lower this too. So quickly just animate it like that. And here maybe also move it even lower. And I might even adjust the feather here a little, decrease it. So this is how the shot now looks, or that element. Okay, now we're going to enable the whole shot here so you can see it. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take now that layer of the dust cloud, and I'm going to scale it up. Just going to adjust it so it looks like this sort of a big mushroom cloud or dust is kind of spreading all over the ground. So the beginning of the shot, I think that's okay there. Go here to transform, position, scale, click the stopwatch here so we're animating it. Maybe scale it here down, something like that. And then by the end of this shot I want this to be really wide, so maybe like somewhere there. It looks like it's covering all of San Francisco. And now we can see how the shot looks. So again, can see it kind of spreads out all over San Francisco. Looks pretty cool. And next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a solid. So I'm going to layer, new solid, make it a black solid, make it comp size. I'm going to name this one Flash. And basically what I'm going to create here is an VFX. I'm going to add a lens flare. So just go generate and go lens flare. Let's pick maybe the 105mm prime. Looks kind of cool. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the transfer mode for this layer and make it an additive. So I'm going to add this explosion so it kind of goes somewhere here. So I can adjust right now the brightness, put it down, so we know where we're putting this. So somewhere there. And I'm going to click the stopwatch next to the center, the flare center. And then I'm going to move towards the end of the shot here, and I'm going to move it down just so that we see our flare kind of moving. And maybe a few frames, like literally let's go maybe 3 frames before our explosion, I'm going to start the flash. So 1, 2, 3, maybe one more, 4. This is our flash here, it's where it starts. And now I'm gonna do this. Click the stopwatch next to flare brightness, make it a 0 at the beginning, and then go to where our explosion is and bring up the brightness so it's almost pretty much covers the whole screen. We are seeing a little bit here, but that's it. And then I'm gonna go a little bit further down and I'm gonna decrease it to 0 again. So basically we're getting this quick kind of flash. And as the flash gets smaller, we start seeing this cool, nuclear mushroom cloud there. So that's how it looks. Next thing we can do also is we can add a little bit of a glow here also to our mushroom cloud. So we can take our explosion, our original one, duplicate it, move it here on top. And I'm gonna make this one, maybe turn off the levels that I did for now and just go to blur Go to Gaussian blur, turn it up, just blur it so we see it kind of creating this little halo around there. And then I'm gonna change the transfer mode to, let's see, overlay, how it looks. Might be good. Let's see, let's turn on the levels back again. And also there, as you can see, it's creating a little bit of this glow effect. See if this is with it, without it. So we can adjust the blur maybe a little bit more. Let's see if I make it an additive. It's a little strong, but let's maybe decrease the opacity here. So that might look, I think, a little bit better. Kind of makes it a little bit hotter in those kind of hot spots. So again, so without it, with it, creates definitely a nice little glow. If you increase it to around 20. So somewhere there. And again, this is the shot here, which is with the glow. So as you guys can see, it, can quickly, just using these few little stock footage elements, you can start creating some pretty cool looking stuff. So here's what we have. Next thing, what I'll do quickly is, as you notice, the buildings are there, and obviously if there was an explosion, this would be all leveled. So we can do this fairly quickly. Here, I'm just gonna turn off all the layers except the original footage. Go to the last frame here, and I'm gonna export this frame. So I'm gonna go save as a Photoshop layer, and I'm just gonna name it and background, whatever. Here, I just click save, and now in Photoshop I'm gonna open that file. Here it is, and very quickly I'm just gonna create again a new layer on top of this. Zoom in so you can see what we're doing. Take the cloning tool, and we're just gonna quickly sort of clone this area. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take all of this kind of rubble, or kind of this mushy pixelated areas where you can't see too much detail, and just kind of paint over the big buildings. Make sure in your sample you have all layers on. So here I'm just gonna click Alt and just kind of sample these areas. So painting it over. You can see you don't have to spend too much time on it. And all I care about is covering up basically those big buildings, so there's no big noticeable landmarks. Maybe cover a bit of this forest there too. And here too, maybe some of these. Okay, and next thing we'll cover up is those kind of buildings, those towers that are sticking out. So just sample the sky and that right next to it. So you can see with the clone tool, you can very easily do like a matte painting. Now, again, if you're gonna spend more time on this shot, then you might want to put in kind of more details in your matte painting. But I'm just doing this for literally just a few second shot, so I don't think anybody's gonna notice that it's not the best piece of artwork out there. So all I really care about is just kind of deleting some of those details, so it just looks kind of more more flat, like there's no buildings left over, just rubble. Paint it like this. And they're almost done. And next thing we'll do is create another layer on top of this and just kind of create some kind of brown spots, something kind of dirt looking stuff. Again, so it doesn't look so even. Take the paintbrush, make it maybe something like 20%, and just kind of create these uneven kind of spots. And then if you want, you can if you decrease it, paint make the brush smaller and apply a few more strokes here. Again, like I said, it's up to you just how much detail you want to put into this. Right now I'm not going to worry too much, just kind of want to see how the shot is going to look. And then I can always go in afterwards and paint in more details. So there, we kind of erased San Francisco. So now I'm just going to save it as a JPEG is good. And just call it BK. So back in Adobe Premiere, I'm going to load that shot. And I'm going to put it here on top of my footage. So as you can see, this is without the matte painting, and this is with our matte painting. So San Francisco is leveled. Now the problem obviously is the shot is moving, the camera is moving, so it is not going to match the other shots. Only matches the last frame. So next thing I can do is track the footage here in Mocha, so I can do a quick, simple kind of a 2D comp of this. So I select this second portion of the shot. Go to animation and go click track in Mocha. Make sure your settings are okay, the same as your comp. And here it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select, go to last frame and select sort of the area more or less where we're going to be putting the matte painting. So take this here pen tool and just select the area here that we want to track. And once you have all the area selected, just right click, creates a quick bezier, and now we can track this. So we'll go here, track backwards. And let's just double check. Yeah, it looks like it tracked it pretty well. So I'm gonna go to the last frame here, select our layer 1, which is the track that we just did, and go align selected surfaces. So it means it's gonna align it to that frame. And then go click export tracking data, and I'm going to select the After Effects corner pin. Go copy to clipboard, and then back in After Effects, I'm going to take the background, the matte painting layer that I did, and I'm going to go to our explosion here marker, and I'm just going to go click Control V. What we got to do is we just got to sort of create a quick mask, because all we really care about is the area that we painted. So something like that here I'm going to do. There it is. We cut it out basically like this, and then again I'm going to adjust the feather on the mask. Just feather it a little bit, and this is how it looks now with our footage. So as you can see, it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's, like it's tracking there. So we only really care about using the shot from this point on, so I can here shorten it. And next thing I want to do is I want to also animate the mask. So I'm going to click here on the last frame mask path, the keyframe, and also the same thing with the feather, because we don't want it. We want the San Francisco sort of to be gradually leveled. So what I'm going to do is, at the beginning here where our explosion starts, I just click this, and I'm gonna make our mask smaller and go to basically where we have our explosion. So maybe I'll turn on one of the explosion here so you can see where it is. So something like that. And now let's see. So yeah, that mask is slowly expanding. As you can see, it's slowly covering San Francisco. Maybe we'll make it go a little bit faster, so just move the last keyframe ahead, somewhere there, so that by this point it's already leveled. Now we can turn back on all of our other layers. So this is how it's looking now, and I think it's pretty cool. So now maybe the last thing that I can do is sort of create a camera shake to really kind of make this shot look more impactful. So pretty easy. What I'm going to do is select all of these layers here, again pre-compose it. Next thing I'll do is I'll create another layer, so just a null for example, and that's going to be to control our shake effect. So what I'm going to do is go to effects, look for slider, so go slider control, and we need 2 of these. And then I'm going to go to our footage here, go to position, And next to position, we're going to animate it, but we're going to click Alt and then the stopwatch. That brings up the expression window. And then here, I'm going to just type in wiggle, simple expression, and you can just type in a number and then another number. First number is going to be how many times per second it's basically going to shake, and then the other number is going to be how many pixels is going to move in each direction. So for example here, if I said I want it moving 5 times a second over 20 pixels, and then close the bracket, and this is how the shot now is going to look. So you'll see it's going to be moving around and shaking, as you can see. But we want to be able to animate this, so that's why I created these sliders in there. So I'm going to select our null, click here this little lock icon so that this thing stays visible, and then I'm going to select the pre-comp, go to our expression here, and then this first number, we're going to select it and then pick whip it here to the slider. So now that slider is going to control the value of that number, and then second number here is a 20, again pick whip, go to the other slider. Now we can close this, and we'll turn on motion blur too for our layer. So now with these sliders we can easily animate it. So we'll go here and basically we'll go maybe like a frame before the flash. We'll click the stopwatch, so it's all set at 0, 0, and then once the flash comes in, we want this shot to be shaking, so we'll maybe put in we want it shaking maybe 15 times a second, and then here maybe something like 30 pixels. So you can see this is how the shot's looking now, shaking like crazy. And then we want to maybe decrease it a little bit so we can see a bit of what's happening. So we'll put this down to maybe 2 times a second over maybe 5 pixels. So it's going to be like this little tremor, as you can see here. And then right away maybe we want to increase it again. So maybe put in 15 pixels, 5 times a second. So again it picks up and then maybe goes down again. And then maybe picks up again. And these numbers you kind of want to play around with until you get it just right. But as you can see, this is how the shot is looking now. It's shaking. The only thing you'll notice is here on the edges, it's moving sometimes so much that you can see the edge of the shot. So we're gonna have to sort of cheat it by scaling up a little bit the shot. So I'll go to scale here. We scale it to 105. Let's see, make sure that it doesn't go off screen now. Yeah, it looks pretty good. We can quickly preview this shot, see how it looks. So here, kind of flying in, and then boom, big flash and explosion, and San Francisco is gone. So once you have this, you can kind of then go in, sort of start tweaking it, adjusting sort of how much you want the camera to shake, maybe adding a bit more dust or flash or things like that. But one big thing for sure that I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn on the motion blur, because you notice the shaking here looks a lot better once the motion blur is in there. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll create a new layer, adjustment layer, so that I can create an overall color correction. So here I'm going to choose utility, apply color LUTs, and I'm just going to create apply a different sort of a look to it using one of my LUTs that I have on my website. I'll pick maybe the warm war. I think it's fitting for this scene. So right away it gives you this kind of a cool look, a cinematic look. And maybe one thing I'll do is I think the ocean's a little too dark, so I can further adjust the look of it by adding some more levels here. Put it on the top and just take the midpoint and kind of drag it to the left a little bit to brighten the midtones. And I'm gonna crush the blacks a little here. So now we know with the color correction and the motion blur applied to the shake, I think it creates a pretty cool effect. So here's the kind of shot that we have right now. And then if you want, you can do the same kind of thing to some of the other shots. So here we have, let's say, the Statue of Liberty. I could add some maybe flames or fire around here, maybe in the background there in New Jersey. I can also, for example, do the same thing here, maybe the Christ the Redeemer statue shot. Again, just, you know, add some things, maybe make it look like it's damaged, maybe, you know, the arm is missing or something, just quickly paint it out and replace it with the background color. So those are just some ideas of things that you know, I might do. As you can see, there's a lot of people here on the bottom, so I would probably I'm gonna end up just covering that up again with some flames and smoke and things like that, make it look like it's you know, kind of been war torn. Maybe in this close-up here shot, I'll end up adding some you know, maybe some bullet holes or things like that here on the Statue of Liberty. So again, you can really kind of you know, do some really cool stuff and make your videos look a lot more epic by adding footage that just, you know, would be really expensive otherwise to get, you know, because just, you know, in here it's very difficult to get these kind of shots, even if you have a drone. But also, you know, just being able to travel to all these locations. So stock footage comes in really handy. And not only that, but here's some other sort of cool video elements that I found on pond5.com, like of this fire here. Also these bigger kind of flames. And these are, again, all, you know, just elements that you can just put in on top of your footage to kind of really, you know, change it. So it's great kind of just stock footage to have. And the good thing is, once you get it from pond5.com, you can use it in all your projects. It's all royalty free. And if you want right now, you can get 10 free video elements that I picked out for you guys, and also a 15% discount on everything on the website with the coupon code Tom Antos. Just follow the link in the description of this video. It will take you to a special page on pond5.com where the clips that I picked out for you guys are available, and that includes the stock footage that I used in this tutorial, but also some cool After Effects templates that I, for example, used for the opening of this video, the title sequence, as well as this other title sequence here, and some lower thirds, for example, bumpers that you can put in people's names, information, things like that. So some pretty cool elements I think that, you know, you guys can use, plus some other stock footage of, for example, muzzle flares that you can use in your action videos. That's the cool thing about Pond5, is that they don't have just stock footage. They have, you know, lots of video clips, but they also have music, they have sound effects even, you know, they have After Effects templates, they have lots of images, they even have 3D models. Definitely, guys, worth checking out. Again, the coupon code for the 15% off is Tom Antos. Make sure you guys go check it out at pond5.com. Anyways, thank you guys, hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you next time.